Hi people, it's Sarkovist here with a review for Sniper Elite 3. Just from hearing the game's title, you probably already have a pretty good idea of what this game is about. You're an elite soldier who has a proficiency for sniping. There are no double meanings, no subtext, it does exactly what it suggests. Therefore the more pressing question is whether or not Sniper Elite 3 makes sniping fun, or ends up being a misfire. The story in Sniper Elite 3 is kept to an absolute minimum. You play as sniper Carl Fairburn, whose job it is to infiltrate Nazi bases and take out priority targets. Before each mission there's a briefing which outlines what you're expected to do. These segments also provide some context, but no more than essential information is divulged. There are also a few fleeting cutscenes, but they are so short they might as well not exist. On the plus side, although the game is set in the very familiar World War II era, Africa does at least provide a change of scenery. Essentially the story in Sniper Elite 3 takes a backseat. Anyone looking for a strong narrative will be very disappointed. The gameplay on the other hand takes centre stage as the title's primary focus. The sniping mechanics will vary depending on what difficulty you choose. Even on the default settings though, you still have to compensate for gravity and in some rare cases the wind. You're also able to enter a focus mode which steadies your scope and reveals a marker which shows exactly where your bullet will hit. However, you cannot use this ability if your heart rate is too high or if you're out of breath. When you do hit your mark though, the game shows off what could be considered its selling points. Time slows down to a crawl while the camera follows the bullet's trajectory. When the bullet reaches its victim, you actually see inside of the target as the bullet passes through them. Organs are punctured, skulls are split, and bones are broken. It's an incredibly violent effect, however I have to admit it's pretty cool. There is a guilty satisfaction to shooting a Nazi right in the eye. The X-ray mode doesn't just apply to soldiers though. The tanks are the closest thing the game has to boss fights, and taking them down can be tricky if you're not careful. To destroy one you must shoot the grill off the back of the tank and then fire into its fuel supply. Doing this triggers the same X-ray effect you see on the soldiers. If you do get tired of seeing Nazi organs though, you are able to cancel the effect at any time during the bullet's flight. Furthermore, stealth plays a big role in Sniper Elite. There's the classic melee strike from behind, as well as a silent pistol, but you can also mask your sniper shots with loud noises. For example, by sabotaging a generator, you can cover up the noise your gun makes. Timing is crucial though, as these noises usually last no longer than a few seconds, so get shooting. In the event you are noticed, a ghost will appear indicating where you were last seen. If you want to disappear, you need to relocate far away from where you were last spotted. You can also set up traps for soldiers, which is an effective method of killing without giving away your position. However, this will make guards more suspicious. There's even the simple method of throwing a rock to get a Nazi's attention to move to a location where he is easier to dispatch. Automatic weapons are also in the game, however they are not very accurate and have a fair amount of recoil. Sniper Elite 3's graphics are nice to look at certainly, but not particularly inspired. There's definitely nothing iconic about these visuals aside from the X-ray kills. Being set in Africa, expect to see a lot of sun shafts during the day. Although they are nice to look at, they do feel almost too frequent. Technically speaking, the graphics are consistently good. I never encountered any glitches and the visuals appeared solid throughout. Also, the explosions are suitably chaotic and powerful. What's more is that the frame rate was very good. With so many games these days having performance issues, it's nice to have a good looking game that also runs well. The lasting appeal of this game will essentially come down to how much you enjoy sniping. There are various modes beside the campaign. There's a survival mode that can be played solo or with a friend. This is very similar to Horde mode from Gears of War in that you have to survive oncoming waves of enemies for as long as possible. Additionally, there's also a competitive multiplayer mode that's basically like most other third-person shooter games, but with an emphasis on sniping. Before entering a match you can choose a character to play as and what weapon loadout you wish to use. Chances are you will end up playing these additional modes as the campaign is very short. That being said, the missions offer you the option of either playing stealthily or all guns blazing. Both methods are perfectly viable and there's nothing to stop you combining the strategies mid-mission. Having multiple ways to tackle objectives creates an incentive for several playthroughs. In conclusion, Sniper Elite 3 is without question a fun game to play, but the lack of plot development is a little disappointing. I didn't expect much to be fair, but this is really the bare minimum. Also, I think the campaign could have done with a few extra missions. On the other hand, the minute-to-minute gameplay is very exciting whether you're sneaking up on enemies or blowing their brains out from afar. To most people, I would recommend waiting for a price drop. However, if the gameplay you've seen here interests you, this may be worth a purchase. As always people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Subscribe to the Archivist 42 channel for gaming top 5s, reviews and more.